Have you ever had one of those days? You spill coffee on your shirt first thing in the morning. Then someone cuts you off in traffic and you lean on the horn, your heart pounding with rage. You get to work and a coworker makes a passive-aggressive comment that just gets under your skin. Later, you see something online that makes your blood boil. By the end of the day, you feel drained, frustrated, and completely powerless, like a puppet whose strings are being pulled by every little annoyance and every single person you meet. You lay in bed wondering, why do I let these things affect me so much? Why do they have so much power over my happiness? You're not alone in feeling this way. We all feel it. This constant battle against frustration and anger feels exhausting because we've been taught to fight the wrong enemy. We think the problem is the traffic, the coworker, or the internet comment. But what if I told you the problem isn't out there at all? What if the key to never being angry or bothered again wasn't about changing the world around you, but about changing one simple thing inside you? The ancient Stoics discovered this secret over 2,000 years ago, and it's more relevant today than ever. It's a key that can unlock a level of peace and resilience you might not think is possible. So, if you're ready to stop being a puppet and start becoming the master of your own mind, stay with me, because what we're about to uncover will change the way you see everything. The journey we're embarking on today is built on a single, earth-shattering idea. It's the foundation of all Stoic thought, and once you truly understand it, the world will look different. This is the core principle that allowed a Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, to rule with a clear head amidst chaos, and a former slave, Epictetus, to feel free even while in chains. It's called the dichotomy of control. It's a simple idea with profound consequences. It states that in this life, some things are within our control and some things are not. That's it. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But let's really break this down. What is truly within your control? The Stoics would say it's a very short list. Your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your actions, and your character. Everything else, absolutely everything else, is outside of your control. This includes the weather, the economy, what other people say, what other people do, what other people think of you, your health, your reputation, and even the outcome of your own efforts. The traffic jam is not in your control. The rude comment from a stranger is not in your control. The fact that your favorite team lost the game is not in your control. Your boss's mood is not in your control. The source of all human anger, frustration, and anxiety, the Stoics argued, comes from a simple mistake. We try to control what we cannot, and we neglect to control what we can. We invest all our emotional energy into things that are fundamentally outside our power, and in doing so, we give our peace away. Think about it. When you get angry at the driver who cut you off, you are essentially saying, "That person should not have done that." You are trying to impose your will on an external event that has already happened, an event you had zero control over. You are raging against reality itself, and reality will always win. The Stoics teach us that events themselves are not what harm us. Events are neutral. They are just facts. What harms us is the judgment we attach to those events, the story we tell ourselves about what just happened. The driver cutting you off is a neutral event. Your judgment, "That disrespectful jerk ruined my morning and put me in danger," is what creates the anger and suffering. The power lies in that space between the event and your judgment. And here's the good news, the most empowering news you might ever hear. That space, that judgment, is 100% within your control. This is where your freedom lies. This isn't about being passive or emotionless. It's about being strategic with your energy. It's about building an inner citadel, a fortress inside your mind that no external event, no matter how chaotic, can ever breach. Your inner world is your kingdom, and you are its sole ruler. Let's bring this down from the clouds with some stories. Imagine Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at the time. Each morning, before he faced a day of backstabbing senators, incompetent generals, and endless court drama, he would write to himself in his journal, which we now know as meditations. He would say, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil." He wasn't complaining, he was preparing. He was reminding himself that the actions of others were outside his control. He couldn't control their ignorance or their behavior, but he could control his response. He could choose to not be harmed by it, to not let their negativity infect his own character. He was drawing a line in the sand between their world and his inner world. Now think about Epictetus. He lived a life that was the polar opposite of an emperor's. He was born a slave. His master once twisted his leg until it broke, leaving him with a permanent limp. Yet Epictetus became one of the most influential Stoic teachers. He would say, "You can bind up my leg, but not even Zeus has the power to break my freedom of choice." He understood that his body, his property, his reputation, all of it could be taken from him. But his mind, his ability to choose how he responded to his circumstances, that was untouchable. He found ultimate freedom in the one place no one could ever chain him, his own mind. These aren't just stories of ancient heroes. This principle applies directly to your life, right now. Let's take a modern scenario. You work hard on a project and present it to your boss. Your boss barely looks at it and gives you vague, unhelpful criticism. The old you, the untrained you, might immediately feel a surge of anger and frustration. Your internal monologue would scream, "I worked so hard, he doesn't appreciate me, this is so unfair." You'd spend the rest of the day stewing, your productivity would plummet, and you'd carry that negativity home with you. Now let's apply the Stoic toolkit. The event: your boss gave you unhelpful criticism. This is an external event, outside of your control. You cannot control his opinion, his mood, or how he chooses to give feedback. The Stoic response is to first pause, create that space. Instead of reacting, you observe. You separate the event from your judgment. The event is the feedback. The judgment is, "This is unfair and means I'm not valued." You have the power to reject that judgment. You can choose a new one. A more rational, useful judgment might be, "His feedback was not helpful. That is a reflection of his communication skills, not my worth." What can I control right now? I can ask for more specific feedback. I can reflect on my work to see if there are any valid points I missed. I can focus on doing my next task to the best of my ability. Do you see the shift? You've moved from being a victim of circumstance to an active agent in your own life. The anger dissolves because it has no fuel. It was being fueled by the false belief that your boss should have acted differently. The Stoic accepts reality as it is and then acts on what they can control within that reality. This is true power. So how do we build this muscle? How do we make this a habit instead of just a nice idea? Here are 4 practical, actionable steps you can start using today. First, and most importantly, is to practice the pause. When you feel that initial spark of anger or frustration, your only job is to create a gap between the trigger and your response. It can be for 1 second. Take a deep breath, count to 3. This tiny pause is your window of opportunity.
It's where you interrupt the automatic emotional hijack of your brain and engage your rational mind. In that moment, ask yourself one simple question. Is this thing that is upsetting me within my control or outside of my control? Just asking the question shifts your perspective. It moves you from a place of raw emotion to a place of analysis. If it's outside your control, you consciously decide not to waste your energy on it. If it is within your control, like your own reaction, then you can decide on a wise and virtuous course of action. The second tool is what Marcus Aurelius called the view from above. When you're feeling overwhelmed by a problem or annoyed by a person, practice this visualization. Imagine yourself floating up out of your body. See the room you're in, then the building, then the city.
Keep going higher, seeing your country, the continent, and finally the entire Earth as a small blue marble hanging in the vast, silent darkness of space. From this cosmic perspective, where is that traffic jam? Where is that annoying coworker? Where is that insulting comment? They all shrink to their true size, infinitesimally small. This exercise isn't meant to invalidate your feelings, but to put them into perspective. It helps you realize that most of the things we get worked up about are, in the grand scheme of things, not worth the cost of our inner peace. Your tranquility is precious. Don't trade it for trivialities. The third technique is a bit counterintuitive, but incredibly powerful. It's called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This doesn't mean being a pessimist. It means being a realist. Each morning, take a moment to think about the things that could go wrong during your day. The Stoics would say to yourself, "Today, the traffic might be bad. My internet might go out during an important meeting. A friend might cancel our plans. Someone might be rude to me." By considering these possibilities in advance, you rob them of their power to surprise and shock you. When one of these things inevitably happens, your reaction won't be, "Oh no, this is terrible, my day is ruined." Instead, it will be, "Ah, yes, I considered this might happen. It is unfortunate, but I am prepared." It's like an emotional vaccine. You expose yourself to a small, controlled dose of negativity in your mind so that when you encounter the real thing, you are already immune to its sting. It turns chaos into something expected and therefore manageable. The fourth and final tool is journaling. This is perhaps the most practical way to train your Stoic mindset. Every evening, take just 5 or 10 minutes to reflect on your day. Write down situations that caused you to feel angry or bothered. Don't judge yourself, just analyze. What was the trigger? What was my initial automatic judgment? Was that judgment true? What was in my control? What was out of my control? How could I have responded more wisely? This isn't about beating yourself up for your mistakes. It's about learning from them. It's like reviewing game tape after a match. You see your errors, you understand the mechanics, and you resolve to do better next time. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is simply his personal journal. He wasn't writing it for us, he was writing it for himself to reinforce these lessons day after day. By making this a regular practice, you are actively rewiring your brain to see the world through a Stoic lens. You are training yourself step by step to become the calm, resilient, and unshakable person you wish to be. Remember, this is a practice, not a destination. You will not become a perfect Stoic sage overnight. There will be days when you forget to pause, when you let anger get the best of you, and that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. When you slip up, don't get angry at yourself for getting angry. That's just another layer of judgment. Instead, treat yourself with compassion. Acknowledge the mistake, learn the lesson, and gently return to the path. Every single moment you choose to pause, to question your judgments, to focus on what you can control, is a victory. Each victory strengthens your inner citadel. Over time, you'll find that the walls of that fortress grow higher and stronger. The things that used to bother you will begin to feel distant.
The actions of others will seem less like personal attacks and more like the predictable and sometimes unfortunate weather patterns of the world. You'll start to feel a deep sense of freedom. Not the freedom from difficulty, but the freedom within difficulty. You will realize that your peace of mind is not a fragile thing that can be shattered by external events. It is a fortress that you and only you have the power to build and defend. The world will continue to be chaotic and unpredictable. People will continue to be frustrating, but it will no longer have the power to disturb your inner tranquility. You will be able to walk through the storms of life with a sense of calm and purpose, knowing that the one thing that truly matters, your character, your inner peace, is always and forever within your control. This is the promise of Stoicism. It is not about suppressing emotion, but about transforming it.
It's about turning obstacles into opportunities for growth and transforming anger into understanding. You have this power within you right now. It's just a matter of practice. Start today. Start with the next small annoyance. Pause, breathe. Ask the question, is this in my control? And watch as your world begins to change, not because the world itself has changed, but because you have. If this wisdom resonated with you, show your support by liking and subscribing for more. What's one thing you're going to stop letting bother you? Share it below. Let's build our inner peace together, one day at a time.